So years ago at Rutgers University, the university had enough money to buy the materials to develop a landscape between 4 of the dormitories. And so what we asked them if we could do it was, could we develop a design and then bring all the materials to this area, probably about a 2-acre area, and then have the students install the design. And we started at 8 o'clock one morning. By 6 o'clock that night, the design was done. It went from a mud hole to turf and green grass and mounds and trees. But the funniest thing was that if anybody stepped on the grass, they'd get yelled at from 3 or 4 or 5 different windows.
So let me get the picture of this. So it was like the 4 dormitories were all facing each other,
Yeah.
and so that was sort of like a center.
A big courtyard, or
courtyard,
yeah.
And that's where the green space, the 2-acre sort of, imagining a square space.
Yeah.
Square space.
Well, my favorite was a sign that showed up on the on the lawn there. It said, "Keep your ass off the grass." But they took care of it.
That's fantastic, though.
Yeah.
Because everybody had a part of it.
Yeah. So again, going back to kids, if kids are allowed to work out of school, right now in the education, K through 12 educational movement stuff, there's project-based learning. Well, most of the projects are in the classroom, in school. And sure, it's exercising creativity, it's exercising social skills and all that, but it's still not coming from the community and giving back to the community. So the kids are still sequestered away in a building, separated from the thing that they're going to become part of.
Right. And so you've done those kinds of projects all along, like where you've connected communities and students.
Yeah.
Your entire teaching career, haven't you?
Most of it. Well, definitely the university students. It's only been the last 10 years I've been fortunate enough to bring high school kids into projects, initially with my university students, and I have to say the high school kids the first year blew the university students out of the water. They really did. And this is, I think this is one of the problems, is too many, a lot of the teachers know you get a kid excited, then get the heck out of their way.
Yeah.
But I think outside of that environment, most people think, well, it's a kid. What does the kid know? What does the child know? And yet, there's some fantastic literature on what kids have produced. Well, in fact, you go to science fairs, and there's a young woman, I think in Odessa here in Washington, who developed a process. She questioned whether or not the water-absorbent material in diapers could be used as an additive, an amendment in soil, and if it would retain moisture and boost the yield of wheat. And she boosted it, I think, 27%, the production of the wheat. So now I think she's got a patent on it. Another of her classmates had another project. There's a young man back in Maryland who came up with a test for, was it pancreatic cancer? And it went, tests that normally you had to have cancer, and you had to be along in the process before the test would show anything. Now as soon as you have the protein in your blood, his test shows it right away.
Wow.
And the cost went down from $800. Well, who knows what the pharmacies will do, the pharmacists will do with it, or the pharmaceutical industry will do with it. But it costs, I think they were saying, like 6 or 8 cents or something.
Oh my goodness!
It's amazing. And they, kids.
Yeah.
What do kids know?
What do kids know? Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that we talk about on our stand in this business, is a world that works for everyone, that every child who comes here to this planet, is born, is supported in uncovering and developing their gifts and delivering them, because we're really all here to be of service.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful to hear that you're doing that, right? So we want to talk about these kinds of things that are already happening. Like, you're doing great things with kids.
And if you go back to something I said right at the beginning, the other underutilized resource, the elderly.
Right.
You think about their educational background, their experiences, their knowledge. Now you bring that together with the unbridled curiosity of a youngster.
Right.
And both of these are suddenly a major player in any one of their communities, a major contributor to the health and benefit and spirituality of their community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so do you have like a vision of that kind of collaboration between bringing elderly people and youth into projects in your future?
I call it Bob's World. No, I'm kidding.
Bob's World, into Bob's World.
Well, actually, I've been doing it. Not to the extent.
So you haven't just, you were thinking about it, you've actually been doing it with your...
Yeah, I think so many of the neighborhood projects, I have business people, there are retirees, because they bring they bring the historic knowledge of the community to play. And they, again, it's just, I'm hesitating because I don't know how to really talk about the melding, the coming together. It's almost idealistic, but it is so wonderful to watch when it's going on.
Yeah. And do you have any projects that you're currently working on?
Just finishing up another neighborhood park project, and it was fun. I did workshops with the adults, but I also did 2 workshops, each with 50 kids, elementary school children.
And where is this at?
This is in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
And the kids, you hand out crayons, you get them talking about it, and then you just step back, and then you've got to struggle to read their writing and stuff. But it's that in itself is a creative endeavor.
Right?
So, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so you met with the kids, you met with neighborhood people, and then what happened next?
Each workshop gets more and more specific based on the outcomes of the previous one, and eventually what I have is a list of wishes, and then that's what I bring together in terms of the historic character, the ecological character, the surrounding character, and this is where then the neighborhood begins to see their wishes haven't been ignored. It wasn't just words, it was actual, there it is, I contributed to that. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So wonderful. So, do you do this now as generally just consulting, or is it part of, do you have a business doing it?
Yeah, I consult under the name of Land and Life out of Spokane, Washington. And it's not just public parks and stuff. I've been involved in a couple projects with elderly, with what is called aging in place, and allowing people, again, our environments were designed by people who were very healthy, and it wasn't until maybe 40 years ago that the barrier-free design came in, and that eventually became American Disabilities Act, but now there are designers, again, architects, landscape architects, interior designers, who are employing this approach to enable people to live longer in their own homes, to live longer in their own communities, instead of having to go to an adult care facility.
Got it.
So they can still be an active part of the community.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. So you're part of you're involved in those kinds of projects as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
The whole age spectrum.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm feathering my own nest, because I'm getting there.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So, in the show notes, we'll make sure that we have information on how to get in touch.
Okay, super.
With that, I guess is it a company, or is it just a?
It's an LLC.
Okay.
Land and Life LLC. Like I say, Spokane, Washington. There's it's landandlife.com on the web. So,
all right. Yeah. We'll have links to that.
Super.
Well, thank you so much, Bob, for talking with us. It's a great way to connect people when you're bringing in both age spectrums, but it brings everyone together.
Yeah, it has that potential.
And really, it's so exciting to hear that people are doing these kinds of things. And so if people wanted to contact you open a discussion or dialogue, or were interested in having you come to their neighborhood park or to do things of that nature, they could contact you through that.
They could do that, or if, who knows where your listeners are, there's landscape architects all over the world. And they've got a lot of the background that I do, so,
But you could point them in the right direction
Yeah,
if they
sure.
were needing some,
Sure.
advice
Yeah.
or guidance.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For being here. I really
been
appreciate
fun.
you and appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank
it's,
you.
It's a real contribution,
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you for viewing this first episode of our second season. Come back next time where you get an opportunity to meet another extraordinary person who is doing extraordinary good and spreading positivity. Thank you, we love you, and we'll see you next time.